The world is changing, and it's changing fast. So how do we get our students ready for jobs that we can't even imagine yet? It's a massive question, right? Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful answer, a framework that's all about building the skills our kids genuinely need to thrive in the 21st century.
So before we can get to the solution, we've really got to understand the problem we're trying to solve. We're talking about a huge, fundamental shift in what it even means to learn and be ready for the modern world.
And that really brings us to the core question here. With new tech, new challenges, new everything popping up all the time, you have to ask, is our traditional way of doing school keeping up? I mean, is this system built for the industrial age really going to work in the digital age? This slide just lays it out so clearly. The old way was all about memorizing facts and then spitting them back out on a test. But today's world, it rewards something totally different. It's about being able to take what you know, apply it in new ways, and think critically to solve really complex problems.
Okay, so how do we bridge that gap? How do we get from here to there? Well, that's exactly where this fantastic tool comes in, the 21st Century Learning Design Framework, or as you'll hear it called, 21CLD. The best way to think about it is like a roadmap for educators. And it's not about throwing out your entire curriculum and starting from scratch, not at all. It's about redesigning lessons to give students real, hands-on practice with the skills they are actually going to use out in the real world.
So the whole framework is really built around 6 core skills. Let's break these down because this is what a true 21st century learner really looks like. Yep, 6 key dimensions. These are the absolute heart of 21CLD. These are the skills that students need to be practicing to become those flexible, adaptable, and honestly, lifelong learners we're all talking about. So let's go through them one by one.
All right, first up, collaboration. And let's be super clear. This is way more than just putting kids in groups and telling them to work together. This is about students genuinely sharing responsibility, making important decisions together, and really having to depend on each other to get things done.
Next, we have knowledge construction. This is pretty much the polar opposite of just memorizing facts. It's about students taking what they've learned and actually applying it in a brand new situation, connecting ideas from different subjects to build a way deeper, more useful understanding of the world.
Then you've got real-world problem solving. I love this one. We're talking about tackling those messy, authentic problems, the kind that don't have a nice, clean answer in the back of a textbook. This is where students really learn to think like innovators. Next up is skilled communication. And again, this isn't just about being able to talk or write an essay. It's about being strategic, crafting a clear, persuasive message for a very specific audience, and being able to back up your ideas with actual evidence to make a real impact.
The 5th dimension is a huge one, self-regulation. I mean, think about it. In the modern workplace, you don't have someone managing every single minute of your day. This skill is all about students learning to own their work, to plan it out, to check on their own progress, and this is key, to use feedback to revise and make their work even better. And finally, the use of ICT for learning. Now, this is not just about using a computer. It's about using technology as a tool for really deep, authentic learning. And, even better, for creating things, making actual products for a real audience, which helps develop incredibly marketable skills.
Okay, so that's all the theory, right? It sounds great on paper, but what does this actually look like when you put it into practice in a real classroom? Let's dive into an example that really brings these ideas to life.
This quote here from educator Ashley Bazzo just nails it. This is where the magic of the framework really shines. You don't have to teach these skills in separate little boxes. A single, really well-designed project can weave a bunch of them together all at once.
And her circus ensemble project is just a perfect example of this. In just one single activity, her students were practicing 5 of the 6 key dimensions. They were building knowledge by researching circus history, they were collaborating to choreograph routines, they were using self-regulation to manage the rehearsal schedules, they were communicating their artistic ideas, and they even used technology to create a promotional video. How powerful is that? And here's the best part. She didn't just run the project and move on. She used video to actually capture evidence of what the students were learning and to reflect on the whole process. That evaluation step is so crucial because it allowed her to see if students were really hitting their goals, and it helped her plan even better lessons for the future.
Now, seeing an example like that can be incredibly inspiring, but let's be honest, it can also feel a little intimidating. So the big question for any educator listening is, okay, that's great, but where do I even begin?
Well, the key is to just start small. You don't have to overhaul everything overnight. Here are 3 simple steps. First, just pick one dimension to focus on. Second, redesign just one of your existing lessons to try and incorporate that skill. And third, take a moment to reflect on how it went. What worked? What did you see from your students?
And please remember, the goal here is absolutely not to try and cram all 6 dimensions into every single lesson. That would be impossible. The real aim is to give students consistent practice in each of these areas over the course of a semester or a school year, just letting them build these skills gradually, one step at a time.
So by being intentional about designing activities that allow our students to actually do things, to collaborate, to create, to innovate, that's how we prepare them for success. And that really leaves us with one final thought to take away. When you look at what you do, what's just one lesson that you could transform to start building the skills for tomorrow?